DonInLondon, hello, October 14th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour, or addiction to both substance and behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour, which could also be addictive, cross-addicted, workaholic, relationshipaholic, anyholic, gym, you name it, food. So these days I'm trying to find balance, just one day at a time. And what helps me is family, community, professionals who kept me alive long enough to find a place where I could understand what recovery and living in the day could be. Sober, just sober one day at a time. And the way forward for me was in fellowship, the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't speak for AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, nor anybody in the fellowship. Everybody is unique and authentic, has a voice and shares as they choose, and they choose where to share. So I'm grateful every single day just to be alive and then see what can happen. It doesn't mean for me that it's all joyful, although joy does come along from time to time. It's a balance in everything, so we can be joyful, sad, and these days know and understand what my feelings are, how I am emotionally, how I am spiritually, and how I am physically. And the spiritual connection for me is always to reality, the living in the moment of now, the ever-present, imperfect, perfectly formed moment. It's what is going on, and I'm just a part of it, and not the centre of the universe. And certainly these days that suits me just as it is, just to be a part of, to be included. And as many people have said over the centuries, there are three elements to living which are fairly important, if not crucial. That is, to love, be loved, and have something useful to do. So, three elements of living: to love, be loved, and useful. And we all find our path, and it's unique and authentic to us. So although we all have similarities, we are different, and that is the gift of living, that we learn from each other, a bit of wisdom. And to be loved, what a sensation that is. And even to know what love is these days, just gradually learning on a daily basis. So good. So what keeps me sober? Well, the Fellowship of AA, being included. And at the beginning of my videos I always share the statement of intent about the fellowship, and then some readings. So the statement of intent, if you like, or the preamble shared at every meeting of AA I go to, is this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is the desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So part of why I do these videos is to share experience, strength and hope, my message, and what I'm learning on a daily basis. And it's also part of my reflections or daily meditations to share the readings and be a part of. So there is a slightly selfish motive, which is to make sure I do read some literature and do something useful on a daily basis. And what more can I say? I went to a meeting last night, a great one down at Christchurch, just off the King's Road, and I cannot share what anybody else said, but I can tell you what the impact was on me. And one of the readings was from the doctor's opinion, and I may share it later, not on this video. And I hadn't read it for a long time, and then I suddenly realised I do belong in the fellowship, and that is because I want to stay sober. And the sharing was powerful. It was all about cherishing the moment of now. And we're in a world which suggests that we can multitask and do everything with everyone. And the simple truth is that if we spread ourselves thinly, we are superficial, and nobody knows our depth. And what the programme of the fellowship offers me more than anything is to find some depth in my feeling, my spiritual connection, and making sure I'm okay physically. So three elements: emotional, spiritual, physical. I can get into the deep of that. and then life can work, I can be a part of, and it stops me from running in all directions all at once and concentrating what is in front of me rather than what I feel I ought to be doing. So I'm learning, but I have to learn daily, and I have to be reminded daily. It's like prayer and meditation to good conscience or to God. And for me, God is truth, the universal truth, not my belief in truth. It's what I'm learning as I go along. So, yeah, there's humility in there. I just need to keep on learning. Otherwise, I forget. And if I forget, goodness knows where I'll end up. Anyway, the daily reflections for today, October 14th, concentrating always in October around doing an inventory, seeing how we are on a daily basis, and the right and wrong of it, if you like, where we're going on the right path or where we deviate and go back to self-will, run riot or obsession. And a programme for living. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. Before we begin, we ask God, or in good conscience, to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest or self-seeking motives. And it goes on to say, I lacked serenity with more to do than seemed possible. I fell further behind, no matter how hard I tried. Worry about things not done yesterday and fear of tomorrow's deadlines denied me the calm I needed to be effective each day. Before taking steps 10 and 11, I began to read passages like the one cited above. I tried to focus on God's will, not my problems, and to trust that He would manage my day. It worked, slowly, but it worked. And part of why it works for me is I'm not God, and God is truth. God works through people, and God is love. So if I'm listening to what other people are saying and the wisdom that they offer, then I'm on path. And as Bill sees it, a reading a day, I just do them linearly, and page 228, the beginning of true kinship. When we reached AA, and for the first time in our lives stood among people who seemed to understand, the sense of belonging was tremendously exciting. We thought the isolation problem had been solved, but we soon discovered that, while we weren't alone anymore in a social sense, we still suffered many of the old pangs of anxious apartness. Until we had talked with complete candour of our conflicts and had listened to someone else do the same thing, we still didn't belong. Step 5 was the answer. It was the beginning of true kinship with man and God. And step 5 is all about sharing our fearless moral inventory of the assets and liabilities over the years. And it's like undoing and understanding what a mountain of stuff we've accumulated often in terms of our feelings, not letting them out, suppressing them because of fear of what people might think of us. So these steps, starting with powerlessness over alcohol and life being unmanageable, then understanding the insanity of drinking through to letting go and letting the good of life happen, and then doing that moral inventory, and then sharing it, and then understanding step 6 and our defects or areas where we go to extremes where it's unhelpful, and then the shortcomings, that's where we have lack of faith, courage and confidence often, through to step 8, the making of a list of amends, and then step 9, doing the amends where it's appropriate, and then step 10, the positive inventory of assets and liabilities in the day. All these things help us. And then prayer and meditation, either to God or good conscience. Prayer and meditation is a reflection, and then sharing the message of experience, strength and hope. What more could we ask for on a daily basis? So as I say at the end of these videos, the serenity prayer to God or to good conscience, and an understanding with ourselves. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is always and simply just for today.